सदाशिवसमारम्भां शङ्कराचार्यमध्यमाम् अस्मदाचार्यपर्यन्तां वन्दे गुरुपरम्परां श्रुतिस्मृतिपुराणानाम् आलयं करुणालयं नमामि भगवत्पादं शङ्करं लोकशङ्करं शङ्करं शङ्कराचार्यं केशवं बादरायणं सूत्रभाष्यकृतौ वन्दे भगवन्तौ पुनः पुनः ईश्वरो गुरुरात्मेति मूर्तिभेदविभागिने व्योमवद्व्याप्तदेहाय दक्षिणामूर्तये नमः. We'll chant together. तपो यज्ञदानादिभिः शुद्धबुद्धिः विरक्तो नृपादेः पदे तुच्छबुद्ध्या परित्यज्य सर्वं यदाप्नोति तत्त्वं परं ब्रह्म नित्यं तदेवाहमस्मि. दयालुं गुरुं ब्रह्मनिष्ठं प्रशान्तं ब्रह्म नित्यं तदेवाहमस्मि. यदा प्रकाशस्वरूपं निरस्तस्पञ्चं परिच्छेदहीनम् अहं ब्रह्मवृत्त्यैकगम्यं तुरीयं परं ब्रह्म नित्यं तदेवाहमस्मि. यदज्ञानतो भाति विश्वं समस्तं विनष्टं च सद्यो यदात्मप्रबोधे नोवागतीतं विशुद्धं विमुक्तं परं ब्रह्म नित्यं तदेवाहमस्मि. निषेधे कृते नेति नेतीति वाक्यैः समाधिस्थितानां यदा भाति पूर्णम् अवस्थात्रयातीतमद्वैतमेकम् एवाहमस्मि. Yes, up to this. In these verses, Brahman is revealed as Atma, and the nature of Brahman is presented through different vakyas, different expressions. In the last shloka, we were seeing Samadhi sthitanam yad purnam abhati. Abhati means shines, is evident. Yat Brahma. Yat should be connected with Brahma. Tad Brahma aham asmi. I am that Brahman, yat which abhati is evident, shines as what? Purnam, limitless. To whom? Samadhi sthitanam. For the people who are abiding in samadhi. The word samadhi can be explained in two ways. One is, yesterday we saw, Atma. Atma being adhishthanam of everything, Atma can be called samadhi. Or samadhi means obstacle-free appreciation of the self. That also is called samadhi. Samyak adhiyate manaha yasmin. That is samadhi. Or chittasya gneyatmana nischalavasthanam samadhi. So when the mind is remaining as this Atma, in the form of the mind is remaining as Atma, means there is appreciation of Atma by the mind without any obstacle, wavering. That state also is called samadhi. So samadhi is clear, obstacle-free appreciation of Atma by the mind, or Samadhi itself means Atma. Either way, Samadhi Sthitanam. For the people who are appreciating the self very well, for them, Brahman, Yad refers to Brahman. Brahman Purnam Abhati. Brahman shines as Purnam, as limitless. And how Brahman shines or becomes evident as limitless? Because Brahman is available as Atma alone. And regarding this Atma, there are so many misconceptions, identification, and those identifications are negated by neti neti vakyehi, nishede krute. Yasmin brahmani nishede krute sati yad samadhi sthitanam purnam abhati. So Brahman is that regarding which there is negation done. And how negation is done? Neti neti vakyehi, by the sentences naiti naiti. So by nishede krute, neti neti vakyehi nishede krute, what is suggested is Brahman is available as Atma. But this Atma is identified with the body, senses, mind and their attributes. Therefore, to reveal Brahma, what is done? Shruti doesn't have to reveal Brahman as a new entity. Brahman is already available as Atma. Only thing Shruti has to do is negate the identification, negate the misconception about Atma. And that negation is done by naiti naiti. Naiti means what? Atma is not this. Naiti means not thus. Atma is not the body. Naiti. Atma is not the mind. Naiti. So when all negations of misconception about Atma is done, then for a person who is appreciating Brahman as Atma, how he will appreciate Brahman? Purnam. He will appreciate Brahman as Purna, which is Atma. So for a person who has got the knowledge of Atma, after listening to the Neti Neti Vakya, for that person, Brahman is understood as Purnam. And what type of Brahman? Atma Svarupam Brahman. Thus, Brahman is revealed by the Shastra not as a new entity, but Brahman is revealed as Atma, having negated misconception about Atma. This is the one of the important what is called principle of Vedanta, or important secret about Vedanta. How Vedanta reveals Atma? How Vedanta reveals Brahman? Brahman description, if we see Ashabdam, Asparsham, Arupam, that type of entity is nowhere found. Still Shastra is revealing Brahman because Brahman happens to be Atma. And since Brahman is Atma, therefore the way of revealing Brahman is just negation of what Atma is not. And when Nisheda is done, then Atma alone is understood to be Brahman. And this Nisheda, that Atma is not the body, Atma is not the fat, lean, etc. On what basis this negation is done? It is done based on two principles. One is, we have already seen one, that is, I, Drashta, am different from Drishyam. Aham, Drashta, Drishyat Bhinnaha. So whatever is objectifiable, I am different from that. And based on that, we negate the Atma status of the body. Body is not Atma, because body is objectifiable. Mind is not Atma because objectifiable. Sense organs not Atma because objectifiable. So based on the first principle, drashta drishyat bhinnaha. Second principle is drishya dharmaha drishya dharmaha. In Sanskrit we say it like this. Drishya dharmaha drishya dharmaha. Means what? Drishya rupa dharma is drishyasya dharmaha. Means, okay, let me not go into that. Any attribute which is available for objectification belongs to the entity which is objectifiable. Objectifiable attributes belong to objectifiable entities. Drishya dharmaha, drishya dharmaha. So objectifiable attributes belong to objectifiable body mind sense complex. Means any attribute, if it is known to you, objectifiable, you see the weight of the body, objectifiable. You see the color of the body, objectifiable. So any attributes which is objectifiable, it should belong to the entity which is objectifiable. Why? Because the attribute cannot remain apart from its entity. Dharmi, the locus. Dharma cannot exist apart from dharmi. And therefore, if dharma, the quality is objectifiable, it should belong to the entity which is objectifiable. And whatever is objectifiable is anatma. In other words, the objectifiable attributes belong to anatma. And therefore, weight of the body, weight, not body we don't say, weight, color, any attribute known, then they belong to the known anatma. What about dukkha? Dukkha also is a quality. So dukkha is known to you or unknown to you? Known to you. So known dukkha should belong to some known anatma. And what is that? Mind. Based on these two principles, drishya dharmaha, drishyanam eva dharmaha, based on that we negate all anatma and anatma dharma which are superimposed upon atma. That is said here, neti neti ti vakyaihi nishede krute sati. When negation is done by the neti neti vakya, and when negation is done on the atma, in that atma which is freed from all superimposition, in that atma one who is abiding, means one who is knowing himself to be that self from which all superimpositions are negated, means one who has understood mano buddhya hankara chittani naham nacha shrotra jivpe nacha grahana netre, those people are called here samadhi sthitana. So the people who are abiding in the self from which all superimpositions are negated, the person who has understood that I am not the body, I am not the mind, I am not the sense organs, I am free from the weight, height, sadness, pleasure, pain, all. For those people, Brahman is available as what? Purnam. Brahman is understood to be Purnam. I am Purnam. What about my limitations? All my limitations are only notional, incidental, based on my identification with the body. If I identify with the body, I will feel sick or sometimes fat, lean, etc. So my being fat, etc., which imply limitations, they are because of identification with the body. I will feel that I am Swamiji, knowing very little, I am a small knowing person, that limitation is because of identification with the intellect. So all my sense of limitations are based on the identification with what I am not. And this, by sense of location, everybody has got this feeling. What? Swamiji, how can I be all pervasive Brahman? I am located here. My address is there. I can give my address. In Tamil Nadu, I started with Tamil Nadu. I can start from the planet also. In Tamil Nadu, there are so many districts, Coimbatore, in that Anaikatti, in there is Gurukulam, in that so many buildings are there, in that lecture hall, one corner, one chair, sitting. That also not fully occupied chair, some space is there. So I am located. How can I be all pervasive? I am not even hall pervasive. Hall also I am not pervading. So this is one of the stumbling blocks for most of the Vedanta students. They say, Swamiji, I can appreciate I am asangaha, I am consciousness. That is easy relatively. But I am all pervasive. That is very difficult. Why? Because you are not able to give up your identification with the body. Even though you are saying I am consciousness, but you locate yourself what? Inside the body only. So one has to see that my sense of being located is because of my identification with the body. When the identification with the body is not there, you do not have sense of being located. You know when? In deep sleep state. In deep sleep state, you don't have sense of location. As long as you are identified, you have sense of location. So your sense of location goes away when there is no identification. So I am limited, located entity because of identification. And that identification is negated by what? Neti neti vakyehi. So when there is a nisheda, negation of all identifications, superimpositions, then I appreciate myself to be Purnam. So Brahman is understood to be Purna Atma when negation of Anatma is done. Alright. And here one thing to be noted. Whenever we talk about Purnatvam, completeness or limitlessness, it is always at the level of Svarupa, existence consciousness. It can never be at the level of the body. At the body level, you can never be Purna. I was reading, somebody in the US is spending $2 million every year to reverse the aging process. Some person is there, technical guy, tacky. So he is doing that. And you know what all the things he has done? He has swapped the blood with his own son. His son is 18 years. So he thought that young blood means I will become young blood. So he has done so many things. 11 o'clock he finishes dinner. Dinner, not lunch. So he eats between 6 and 11, that's all. So that he said whole day my digestive system will have rest and all. What type of life? He is lengthening his life for, that's a miserable life. He has to do so many, every day 100 supplements he takes. 100. This is the height of this foolishness. You can never, still do you think he will be living say 5,000 years or something? Maybe 20 years, 30 years more. If accident, etc. doesn't happen. What is this? So perfection at the level of body is not possible. Perfection at the level of emotions, not possible. You cannot say, Swamiji, if I get Dhanam, will I be all the time happy, all the time smiling, laughing? No. Jnani also will have pain. He will say like this, he will do like this. It will happen. So you don't expect that perfection at emotional level will be there. Or perfection at intellectual level. Means he will be knowing everything. Many Shishya, very devoted Shishya, they will say, our Guruji knows all the languages. He may be knowing the one or two words of some languages. Another day we met one Swamiji in Rajpalayam. He is knowing Japanese and Korean and Chinese and I got so many languages, but little bit, some not little more. So it is not that perfection will happen at intellectual level. He'll be knowing everything. You can ask him recipe of dal dhokli also. Even item in Gujarat. So that is not like this, So don't expect this Puja Swamiji, when he was unwell and he was in the hospital, he was talking to someone or sent the message, and he said that Purnatvam is only at the level of Svarupa and not at the Buddhi, or not at the level of body, mind, sense complex. People expect that a wise person should not have any disease. So if any wise person has disease, then some people will not accept. They say, how can it be? The perfection, child is seeking perfection somewhere. Child wanted his parents to be perfect, and he was disillusioned. So now he is in search of that perfect figure, and therefore he wants his guru to be perfect. My Guruji knows everything. So child in the person feels good, but we need to know there is no perfection at the level of Anatma. Purnatvam is there only at the level of Atma, Swarupam. So what is wisdom? I own up my limitlessness at the level of Atma, and I accept gracefully the imperfection of Anatma. Accepting the imperfection of Anatma and claiming the Purnatvam of Atma, that is the way to be free. People are doing reverse thing. What they are doing? They are disclaiming, disowning the Purnatvam of Atma and trying to convert imperfect Anatma to perfect Atma. Opposite. So that which is Purnam, you disown it. That which is Apurnam and cannot be Purnam, you are trying to make it Purna. That is never going to happen. So Purnatvam is at the level of Atma. And Avastha Trayatitam. It is beyond three states of experience. We have already seen in Amrita Bindu Upanishad also that Atma is present in and through all of them, but it is not limited by any one of them. Avastha Trayatitam means it is beyond three states of experience, Jagrat, Swapna and Shushupti. Because of the identification with the Avastha, the experience, the Jiva thinks that I am the waker, I am the dreamer, I am the sleeper. But really speaking, his true nature is what? Avastha Traya Sakshi and not Vishwa, Tejas and Prajna. And that is what Mandukya Upanishad says, Nanta Pragdam, na Bahish Pragdam, no Bhayata Pragdam, na Pragnana Ganam, na Pragdam, na Pragdam. I am not any one of this. Avastha Trayatitam. I am not a waker. Wakerhood belongs to the mind. This dreamerhood belongs to the mind. Sleeperhood is the passive state of the mind. Atma is Sakshi of even the sleep. So I never sleep. So if you are caught sleeping, you can say, Swamiji, I never sleep. You can say Atma Drishtya. So I never sleep. Alupta Drukka am. Avastha Trayatitaha. No state belongs to me. I am Sakshi of all of them, but not confined to any one of them. And Advaitam. I am free from duality. In the sense, I am free from this Mithya Jagat. The Nirasta Prapancha we have already seen. Since the duality is Mithya, therefore I am Advaitam. What appears to be Dvaitam is unreal, and unreal cannot be counted along with real. Therefore, as real entity, I alone am. Therefore, ekam advaitam. I am one, ekam is one, free from any duality. Na vidyate dvaitam yasmin iti advaitam. So, I am non-dual one. That Param Brahma I am. Now, in the next shloka, this Satchidananda Swarupa of Brahman is highlighted. Yadanandaleshai samanande vishvam yada bhati sattve tada bhati sarvam yadalocite heyamanyat samastam Param Brahma Nityam Tadevahamasmi. So it is said in the first line, Vishwam, the entire world, Samanandi. Samanandi means happy. The entire world becomes happy. Means anyone becomes happy. How? I think in your book is A is there, no? It should be Ya only. Anyone becomes happy Yadananda leshaihi. Yasya anandasya leshaihi. Lesha means fraction or reflection. Anyone in the world becomes happy, Samanandi is a Napumsaka, therefore Samanandi. Anyone in the world becomes happy by the fraction or the reflection of whose Ananda Swarupa? Whose refers to Brahman? Yad refers to Brahman. So in simple words, if we put it, the world becomes happy whenever, world means world of people. The world of people become happy only because of the reflection of the Ananda Swarupa of Brahma. That Brahman I am. So we have seen this idea in the beginning itself, third Yadananda Swarupam, there itself we had seen. Entire world becomes happy because of my Ananda Swarupa. What is the phenomenon we have seen? Brahma is Atma, and this Brahman is Ananda Swarupa, and it is reflected when the mind has got a calm state. And how the calm state comes? When some conducive situation takes place or some desire is fulfilled. I want ice cream, I want ice cream, I want ice cream. And so mind is restless, and then he got it. So it becomes quiet. Like child, no, crying, becomes quiet, you give, cry. So like child only. So if mind becomes quiet. In that quiet mind, the Ananda Swarupa of Brahman is reflected. And that is what we call experiential happiness. So everybody becomes happy by the reflection of the Ananda Swarupa of Brahman. That Brahman I am. I am Brahma, by whose reflection alone the world becomes happy. Yadananda leshaihi samanande vishwa. We have seen this. It's a very nice way of saying that I, Ananda, Ananda Swarupa Brahman alone, making everybody happy. Nice? I alone am there behind the happiness of everyone. But Jiva commits one mistake. You know what is the mistake? Jiva thinks that this happiness is coming from the object. And Jiva is little bit, rational, this especially human Jiva. थोड़ा बुद्धि वाला है. So what he does, he uses the Anvaya Vyatireka, co-presence, co-absence logic. So what it says, when ice cream is there, happiness is there. When ice cream was not there, happiness was not there. Therefore what? Ice cream is the source of happiness. Like sugar is, sweet taste is. Sugar is not there, sweet taste is not there. Therefore sugar is the source of sweet taste. That is how we arrive. It's called Anvaya Vyatireka. Yas sattve yas sattvam yadabhava yadabhava tat tasya karanam. That is called Anvaya Vyatireka logic. So Jiva uses this. But we tell them, see the logic, oh human being, what you are using, even dog uses this. You know, dog logic is, the dog is biting this dry bone, and it bites and then its mouth starts oozing blood. And now dog is using the logic. When the bone was not chewed, juicy taste was not there. Now that bone is chewed, juicy taste is coming. So bone has got juicy taste. Blood taste was not there when I was not chewing this bone. Now it is there. Therefore, this blood or the juicy taste belongs to what? Bone. This is called dog logic. We laugh at dog logic. What a foolish thing. It is your own blood. And you think it is coming from bone. Same thing when this Tata says, my grandchild, Swamiji, when he said Tata, I feel so happy. My child, my grandchild is the source of my happiness. In Gujarati they say that we always like interest more than the capital. The grandchildren are considered to be interest. Our children are capital. So they are getting us grandchildren are interest. So interest is always dear, generating something. So that's what Jiva commits mistake. So Vedanta reveals the fact that whatever enjoyment you have, it is an joy. It is, Swami Paramatma says nicely, he said it is my joy. It is not the joy coming from anywhere else. Yadananda leshehi samanandi vishvam. I am that Brahman by whose reflection of Ananda the entire world is becoming happy. Alright. Another fact is revealed. Yada bhati sattve tada bhati sarvam. Here yada bhati, yad abhati sattve tada sarvam abhati. In that manner we have to break. When this Chaitanyam, Brahma Swarupa Chaitanyam or Chaitanya Swarupa Brahma abhati, shines. Where? Sattve, in the mind. When the consciousness shines, manifest in the mind, tada, then sarvam abhati, then everything becomes evident. Tasya bhasa sarvamidam vibhati. By the light of consciousness alone, everything becomes evident. Pujya Swamiji used to say very nicely, he said, the sun shines because my eyes shine. My eyes shine because my mind shines. My mind shines because I consciousness shine. I consciousness shine because I cannot but shine. So behind all shining, what is the original shining? I consciousness am original shining. So yada abhati sattve, when I am manifesting through the mind, then alone everything becomes evident. Without consciousness being manifest in the mind, nothing can become evident. Everything is made evident by the presence of consciousness, which is Brahma. So I am that Brahman in whose presence everything becomes evident. So all Ananda is because of me, all knowledge also is because of me. I am the basis of all knowledge. Ghatakdanam, Patakdanam, all of them are nothing but this consciousness. Pujya Swamiji used to use the expression, Ghatakdanam can be called pot consciousness. Consciousness associated with this pot thought is called pot knowledge. And therefore, all knowledge are nothing but the manifestation of consciousness alone. All right. Then, yadalochite heyamanyat samastam. When this Brahman is alochita, means recognized, understood properly as oneself, then anyat samastam, everything else is heyam. Heyam means what? Worthless. It does not have any worth, means no other thing in the world can become your goal once you have understood Brahman as yourself. You will not say, I have got moksha, Swamiji, I understood Brahman, so I will have moksha, but what about helicopter? So, moksha and helicopter, after you have got this freedom in terms of appreciating yourself to be limitless Brahman, nothing remains to be attained. So, everything is heyam, means worthless. There is no status in anything to become the goal of my life. Nothing can become my destination anymore. So, heyam anyat samastam. There is another reading which is a better reading, and that is yadalokane rupamanyat samastam. When Brahman is understood, yadalokane, yasya brahmanaha alokane, when Brahman is understood, then anyat samastam rupam, everything else is as well understood. Anyat samastam alochitam. This is one of the important revelation of Vedanta. Yasmin vignate sarvamidam vignatam bhavati. By knowing Brahma, everything is as well known. Why? Because Brahman alone is. Like by knowing clay, all the products of clay are known. Because all the products of clay, vacha rambanam vikaro namadheyam. So all the products are only names and forms, they do not have substantial existence. Therefore, if you understand the substance, then everything is as well known. And that idea is beautifully brought out in this alternative reading. Yadalokane rupamanyat samastam. So by knowing Brahman, you become Sarvajna. Sarvajna doesn't mean that the wise person will be knowing all languages. Sarvam brahmatvena janati iti sarvajna. One who knows everything as Brahma, that person is called sarvajna. Whereas Ishvara, with his Maya Upadhi, he knows everything in detail. Therefore, we have a separate word, Sarvavit. So, Ishvara is Sarvavit because he knows everything in detail. Wise person is called Sarvajnaha because he knows everything as Brahma. Sarvam brahmatvena janati iti sarvajna. So Ishvara is what? Sarvajna or Sarvavit? Both. Poor Ishvara, he should have knowledge also. So he also is Sarvajna. So he is, therefore, yes, Sarvajna, Sarvavit. He is Sarvajna and Sarvavit both. Whereas a wise person is what? Sarvajna. All right. Once in a while, थोड़ा जगह देता हूँ आपको. Okay. Yadalochite, yadalokane rupamanya samastam. And by this, knowing Brahman, everything is as well known. It also conveys the message that you become free from intellectual samsara. What is intellectual samsara? It is a particular meaning. Intellectual samsara means there is anxiety to know this, know this, know this, know this. There is nothing wrong in knowing things, but there is anxiety. There is a sense of limitation, sense of incompleteness. Oh, I don't know this. I don't know this. People talk about this Titan submarine. I don't know what is Titan and submarine. So, Titan I have heard, submarine I have heard, but Titan submarine, what is this? People talk about, I don't know. So, there is anxiety. Oh, I don't know this, I don't know this. And I tell you, however much you know, still there will be so much ignorance. In fact, Puja Swamiji very nicely used to say, more you know, more you come to know what you don't know. What a nice statement. More you know in any field, more you come to know what all you don't know. See, before coming to Vedanta, that was like this. In Vedanta, so much is there. So, if you are looking upon Vedanta is one more field, in Vedanta also that type of situation will be there. So, Vedanta should not be looked upon as an academic field. Otherwise, whatever intellectual samsara you have in other field, same will be here in this field also. You will always have complex. Oh, I have not studied this, I have not studied this, I have not studied Sanskrit, I have not studied Artha Sangra, I have not studied Tarka Sangra, I have not studied Mimamsa Paribhasha, I have not studied Vedanta Paribhasha. So many books, so many name also I don't know. Is samsara continues here also. Therefore, never look upon Vedanta as a field of academic excellence. Your samsara will continue. So, when you understand Brahman as the truth of everything, then your anxiety to know goes away. Your feeling that I am ignorant, that goes away. This way Puja Swamiji very nicely revealed. He said, only way to be free from ignorance is to see oneself to be the Sakshi of ignorance. I am the Sakshi of even ignorance. That ignorance doesn't touch me. Ignorance is not my attribute. I am the Sakshi of ignorance. And anyway, I know the truth of everything, and therefore everything is as well known. And therefore here it is said, Yadalokane Rupamanyas Samastam. That Brahman I am. So what is said in this 6th sloka? That I am that Brahman by whose reflection alone everybody becomes happy, and by whose manifestation in the mind alone everybody gets knowledge, and by the knowledge of which everything is as well known and nothing remains to be achieved. Now, in the next shloka, some more words are given which are revealing the nature of Brahma. Anantam vibhum nirvikalpam niriham Shivam sangahinam yadomkaragamyam Nirakaramatujjvalam mrityuhinam Param Brahma Nityam Tadevahamasmi. Anantam, we have already seen, Brahman is called Anantam because it is free from Anta. Anta means limit, end. Brahman is free from time-wise, space-wise and object-wise limitations. Therefore, Anantam. We have seen this meaning earlier. Vibhum. Vibhum means Sarva Vyapakam, all pervasive. And another meaning of Vibhu also is that Vividam Bhavati iti Vibhu. One non-dual Brahman alone appears in manifold manner as manifold world, therefore also Vibhu. But by itself nirvikalpam, it is free from any division, it is free from subject-object division. Subject and object both are superimposed upon one Brahman, one Brahman appears as the subject and object, but by itself free from subject and object. Like I, waker, appear as the subject in the dreamer, a dream, and this object in the dream. But I by myself am neither that subject nor object. Similarly, nirvikalpam. Niriham. Niriham means nirgata iha. Iha, yasmin. Iha means, two meanings are there. One is iha means desire. Other iha has got the meaning kriya, action. So Brahman is free from any desire, and because it is Purnaha, and Brahman is free from any action because it is changeless. For any action to happen, the locus has to have this capacity to modify. If vikara, modification is not possible, then action is not possible. Since Brahman is nirvikara, therefore it is niriham, actionless and desireless. All right. Shivam. Shivam general meaning is mangalam, auspicious. Shantam Shivam Advaitam Chaturtham Manyante. Mandukya. Shivam means mangalam. And this word Shiva is also derived from Sho Dhatu. Shati Dukkham Papam iti Shivam. So Brahman is Shivam because knowing Brahman as oneself, one becomes free from dukkha, one becomes free from papam, and therefore it is Shivam. And also, as I said, Shivam means Mangalam, and ultimately Mangalam is Ananda only. See, why you consider something to be auspicious? The Rangoli is auspicious, then that leaves, banana leaves or this or mango leaves auspicious. Because we think they will lead us to something auspicious, which will give us happiness. So ultimately Shivam has got the meaning Ananda. Therefore Brahman is Shivam means Ananda. Sangahinam, free from. Hinam means free from. Sangha, any real connection. Brahman is not having any real connection with any Nama Rupa. Why? We have seen, for any real connection has to be there, both the entities which are supposed to be related should have the same degree of reality. But Brahman alone is real, nothing else is real, and therefore Brahman cannot have real Sangha, real association with anyone. Therefore Sangahinam. Otherwise it is called Asangaha. Brahman is Asanga. But Gaudapadacharya says that some people are afraid of Brahman because Brahman is Asanga. So people think, oh my God, if I become Brahma, then I will have no connection. Oh, no connection means then I will be lonely, I will be afraid. Many people are afraid of being alone. Big punishment. If you don't give them food, okay, but they should not be left alone. People plead. One lady was telling, Swamiji, I used to plead people, you be here, be here, be here. Afraid. Sangha is so, we are so much used to our walkers, our crutches, that walking on our own is very difficult. Imagination, even if we can't imagine, if you have to imagine, we find it difficult. But Brahman is Sangahinam. It is a fact about myself. And one good thing is, when you discover yourself to be Brahman, truly, then you will not have fear. Why? Dvitiyadvai bhayam bhavati. Fear is always from the second. There is no second entity for you. What for fear? From whom you will have fear? No fear. Sangahinam. I am free from any connection. With Sukha also I don't have connection. With Dukkha also I don't have connection. And Yad Omkara Gamyam, which is revealed by Omkara. How? We have already seen in Amrita Bindu Upanishad. A, U, Ma, they stand for Jagrat Swapna Shushupti, and the silence which ensues, that stands for Sakshi Chaitanyam, That Sakshi Chaitanyam is Brahma. In this manner, this Brahman is revealed through Omkara. Nirakaram, it is not having a particular shape. Brahman is square or circular, no shape. Nirakaram, it is shapeless, free from any form, shape. And Atyujvalam, very bright. Jyotisham api tad jyotihi, it is said in Upanishad. It is the most brightest. Means what? It is of the nature of consciousness in whose light alone everything shines. And therefore it is Atyujvalam. It is a figurative expression. We should not think literally that the Brahman is very bright, so brightest. It is not a physical light. It is the light of consciousness. Mrityuhinam, it is free from death. Body has death. The mind also has got state of resolution during Shushupti and during Pralaya. But Brahman is free from Mrityu, death. And death stands for birth also. So Janma Mrityu Hinam. And Janma Mrityu stands for samsara. Therefore samsara hinam. I am ever free from samsara. Nitya muktaha basmi. That idea also is given. Tad Brahma, Tad Param Brahma, Nityam Param Brahma, Aham Asmi. Okay, next. Today I may take some more time because we want to complete this text. Yadananda sindhau nimagnaಃ puman syad avidya vilasas samasta prapanchah tada naspuratyadbhutam yannimittam param brahma nityam tadevahamasmi. Here one correction is that Naha is there, it should be read as now only. Visarga can be dropped. Visarga is not there. Okay, now you can read. This sloka is somewhat similar to the fourth sloka. Yadajnanato bhati vishvam samastam vinashtam cha sadyo yadatma prabodhe. So there we had seen that Brahman is adhishthanam, vivarta karanam, and by the ignorance of adhishthanam alone, there is superimposition, there is appearance of mithya padartha. Similar idea is given that when a person is abiding in Brahman, there is no real world, really existent world available. The world as real entity is negated for a wise person. Why? Because the world as real entity is there as long as Ajnanam is there. Since the world is the product of Ajnanam, therefore when Ajnana goes away, then world no more remains as a real entity. That is the idea given here. We will take the second line first. Samasta prapanchaha, the entire world. Avidya vilasaha. Vilasa means product, projection, adhyasa. The entire world is the product of or projection of adhyasa, projection of avidya. The entire world is born of avidya, born because of avidya. And therefore, Yadananda sindhau nimagnaha puman syat. When puman, a person, nimagnaha syat, immersed, syat means would be, immersed. Immersed in what? Ananda sindhau, in the ocean of this happiness, fullness of Brahman. So when a person would be immersed, abiding in the ocean of Ananda of Brahman, then the entire world, which is the product of avidya, tada, at that time, naspurati, does not appear as a real entity. We have to supply. Satyatvena naspurati. So when I understand myself to be Brahman, then the world which is there because of ignorance no more appears as a real entity. As we have seen, there are two types of Brahma. One is this Sopadika Brahma, other is Nirupadika Brahma. This world is a Sopadika Brahma, and therefore the appearance of the world will continue. But the world will not be considered, seen as a real, independently existing entity. And that is said here, tada naspurati. The world does not appear as a real entity. Adbhutam, wonderfully it happens. Yan nimittam, because of which Brahman. And here because of which Brahman means because of the knowledge of which Brahman. Because of the knowledge of which Brahman, this world no more appears as a real entity. That Brahman, that Param Brahma, Aham. So in this shloka what is said? When you understand yourself to be limitless Brahma, then the world which is the product of ignorance no more appears as a real entity, because it is a product of avidya only. All right. So with this, the 8th shloka we have completed. Yes. Now with this the main stotram is completed. Svarupanusandhanashtakam, Ashtakam is 8 shlokas. But at the end the Falashruti is given. Falashruti means the description of the result of studying this stotram. Svarupanusandhanarupam stutim yaha patedadarat bhakti bhavo manushyaha Shrunoti hava nityamudyukta chittaha Bhaved Vishnuratreiva Veda Pramanat. Yaha Manushyaha, whichever human being pathed, would read stutim, this glorification, in the form of rupam, in the form of Svarupanusandhanam. Whoever reads this glorification in the form of this stotra, which is Anusandhanam, contemplation upon oneself or contemplation upon one's true nature. So, yaha manushya, whichever human being would read this glorification of oneself, which is Brahman, which is in the form of this stotra, which is in the form of the contemplation upon one's true nature. But how does he read? Adarat. Adarat means with respect, with reverence, with sense of importance. If one reads, and bhakti bhavaha, Bhaktihi bhavaha yasya. The person who is having the feeling of devotion, that person is called bhakti bhavaha. So a person reads this stotra with devotion, means with value for the content of this stotra, and shrunoti, even if he does not chant, at least shrunoti, va means or shrunoti, he listens to, iha, in this world, in this life, nityam, regularly, udyukta chittaha, with attentive mind. Not that he is chanting and is watching TV and chanting. Not that. Some people, they are multitasking. Multitasking perhaps in other field okay, but in Vedanta you should not do. Many people, they say, Swamiji, I am making roti and I am listening to Vedanta. It's okay, I mean, we can't say because, so they say, Swamiji, no other time. But generally Vedanta is not to be listened to like that. Vedanta should be listened to sitting in one place without any distraction. That is the right way of listening. But if Swamiji, in that case I will not be able to listen. So better we listen. While cooking also we listen. So we just compromise. But really speaking, Vedanta is to be listened with attention. So udyukta chittaha, udyuktam chittam yasya. So in that manner, one who reads this or listens to this, and slowly he will understand from the teacher the content, then atra eva, in this world, in this life alone, Vishnuhu bhaved, he will become Vishnu. So far we were worshipping Vishnu, now you yourself become Vishnu. Vishnu is another name for Brahma. Veveshti sarvam iti Vishnu. That which pervades everything is called Vishnu. So that person himself becomes Brahma. And he said, what is the guarantee that I will become Brahma by listening to or by studying this Svarupanusandhanashtakam? Veda Prabhanat. On the strength of the means of knowledge in the form of Vedas. So Veda Pramanat means on the strength of Veda, I am saying this, Atreva Vishnu Bhavet. Person will become Vishnu, Brahma in this life itself. What is the Veda Pramanam? Brahma Veda, Brahmaiva Bhavati. In Mundaka Upanishad it is said, one who knows Brahma becomes Brahma. Brahma Veda Apnoti Param. So person discovers himself to be Brahman when a person studies this stotra with the understanding of meaning, then it will definitely make him free from this Jiva Bhava, this sense of individuality, and he discovers himself to be Brahman. So with this, the Falashruti also is completed. So if we see, have a bird's eye view, then first shloka talked about Jnana Yogyata Prapti. How to attain the fitness for knowledge. Second shloka talked about Jnana Prapti. How Jnana Prapti? Shravana, Manana, Nididhyasanam. So first Jnana Yogyata Prapti, second was Jnana Prapti. By going to the teacher, listening, then deliberating upon and contemplating upon the subject matter, one gets Jnana. So Jnana Prapti. And from the 3 to 8, contemplation, how contemplation is to be done. And in that, the third shloka, Brahman was revealed as Ananda Swarupa, Prakasha Swarupa, free from any duality, and one important fact was revealed, that Brahman is to be not known as an object, Brahman is to be understood as oneself. It is to be claimed as oneself. Aham Brahma Vrutyaika Gamyam. So that was the content of the third shloka, where Ananda Swarupa, Chaitanya Swarupa, and Brahman is to be claimed as oneself. That idea was highlighted. And in the fourth sloka, it was said that Brahman is the adhishthanam of this world. Because of the ignorance of Brahman alone, the world appears to be a real entity. And once person knows Brahman, then there will not be Jagat as an independent real entity. And that Brahman is not available for mind to objectify, not available for the organ of speech to denote, and it is ever pure, ever free. That was the content of the fourth sloka. And fifth sloka, which we saw today, this Brahman is revealed by Neti Neti Vakya. Why? Because Brahman is available as the self-evident self. Therefore, it is not to be revealed as a new entity. But whatever misconception about the self is there, that is removed by the Nisheda Vakya. And when Nisheda of all misconception is done, then Brahman is owned up as oneself. Then in the sixth sloka, the Ananda Swarupa of Brahman, Chaitanya Swarupa of Brahman was highlighted, and by knowing Brahman, everything is as well known. That particular fact was highlighted. Seventh sloka, again some words were used to reveal Brahman is free from limitations, Brahman is free from division, action, desire. Brahman is Ananda Swarupa, free from any real connection, and it is revealed through Omkara as well. And it does not have a particular shape, is free from death, and it is Chaitanya Swarupa. And in the last sloka, it was said that a person, when he is abiding in this Brahman, then the world is no more available as real entity. So, 8th sloka is somewhat repeating the 4th sloka content. And this Brahma Jnanam makes the person free from the sense of duality. That is how the 8 slokas were given. And finally, the Stuti, glorification of this Svarupanusandhana stotram was given. So, message of this Svarupanusandhanashtakam is, I am limitless Brahma appearing in the form of this world without becoming this world. I am Brahma. All that is here is nothing but Brahma. That Brahman I am. That is the vision of this stotra. So, with this we have completed one text of the camp. So, I think you must have started packing your luggage. So, tomorrow we will conclude the next other text, Amruta Bindu Upanishad. Om Purnamada Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnameva Vashishyate. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Harihi Om Shri Gurubhyo Namaha. Harihi Om.